Whistler Sliding Centre in British Columbia in Canada. This is the venue for the 2010 Winter Olympic Games, and we are ready for the start of the bobsleigh and skeleton season. The BMW World Cup gets underway here. We've had the first of our two runs from the women's skeleton race. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me is John Morgan. And John, expected front runners doing well in the first heat, but some new names to conjure with as well.
Well, the world champion, the World Cup champion from last season, Tina Herman. She won this event last year, but here she started in the middle of the pack with the draw and came down, and she only missed one podium last year, and looks like she's going to challenge for another medal here today. She's in third at the end of the first run. Jacqueline
Our two Dutch athletes.
She's definitely improved her start time. 8th in the first heat.
Maria Oliver of Russia leads, 15 to go. Coach Loach in the background shouting off Joska. Kimberly Boss didn't make the second heat. She was 21st in the first run, so she missed the cut in her World Cup debut.
Surprised at that, because last year in the World Championship, she was a very pleasantly 8th place.
Yeah.
Shocked us all.
Again, that was a track she knows intimately. This one brand new to Kimberly.
Very experienced. 7th place in St. Moritz last year, her personal best. Did not make the Olympic teams.
Really skid there.
Really stiff Dutch Olympic Committee standards prevented her from making the Olympic teams in Sochi. She hasn't missed too many races in 3 or 4 years, I can tell you that.
No, she's been a full World Cup competitor for the last 6 years. Midway through the previous season to last, she changed her sled completely.
5th best time, going to drop 4 spots. Orlova living in the leader's box, which is a great strategy.
Not sure how much further she's going to rise, but there are a very tightly packed group of athletes in front of her. We measure this sport to hundredths of a second for a very good reason, because it can make quite a difference to your position. So Joska Leconte slips to 5th position. Kendall Wessenberg in 6th of our 6 athletes. And her American teammate Annie O'Shea is next up on the starting blocks. A little bit of sweeping to make sure the ice is clean. Kimberly Boss there on the left-hand side in the black jacket with the glasses on. And Annie O'Shea loving the new black hair. 1500ths of a second, her advantage over the current race leader, Maria Oliver, from the first of our 2 heats. The girl from Port Jefferson Station, New York.
4th place at the Fifth place at the World Championships last year. Great
really
breakout season for her. She won the World Cup event in Lake Placid, her home track, with her first World Cup medal.
5:06 in the first heat. She's just busted out of 4:99. So I'm guessing that the stiller conditions are very different from her first start.
Yeah, she went down in that 12th position. So we said about 5 to 12, 5 to 14. It was blowing up there.
Yes, it was.
Could have affected her, because she is one of the best starters in the field. 1700s lead, so she's barely got an advantage over Orlova. She had 1500s, now it's only out to 1700s with a similar start. Boy, that was an increase in time there.
Did she find a shortcut or a power-up somewhere? That was a great jump forward, half a second clear of Oliver. 135.
Wow, she's flying. This is going to be half second better. 55.18 for Annie O'Shea, 3/10 better. I got to say, that was weather affected in the first heat for her.
That slide would have left her in 6th position in the first heat, not where she was, which was 13th, 14th.
There was that little vortex in there, about 8 to 12, 7 of where the wind. We're looking outside our booth. We saw the snow coming sideways, and that's when she went.
Yeah.
Much better run for Annie O'Shea of Port Jefferson, New York. Not perfect there on that exit, but this is down where you're going about 80 miles an hour coming into the shiver, and then the 50-50 curve. Good form there.
We'll be seeing all the family as ever in Lake Placid when we race there in 2 weeks' time in the World Cup.
Oh, and we're on camera.
Yes, you're on camera. So family will be watching back at home. Next up for Latvia, Lelda Prejelena. Again, start draw number 14, so possibly still in that weather-affected window that hampered Annie O'Shea.
Let's see what she can do better here. 5:08. So if she gets it a 5 flat, she's also was weather affected. 4:96. There's another one. That it was blowing sideways up there. It's
plus that little bit of wet snow. Doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, we're only talking about losing 4 or 5 hundredths of a second.
But 4 or 5 at the top of the track is 15 at the bottom, and that's an eternity of time. The sport's not in a gymnasium. We're outdoors here dealing with Mother Nature, and I'd rather have it that way.
Yeah.
800s lead.
This is going to be tight.
Going to be close. Oh, now she's behind. Now the question is, she's going to fall more than 1 spot. O'Shea was electric on the bottom part of this track.
26.5 miles an hour, still building the speed. 134.7.
Watch out here, she's got to be perfect here at the bottom. She is, and she second best time, 55.31, which...
Well, that would have left her inside, well, 100th of a second away from 7th.
She's only 1300ths better. O'Shea went 3000ths better. But both her and O'Shea went a 10th better, plus at the start. So she's not happy.
Well, she's not raced here before, so she doesn't have so much knowledge as Annie did that she was able to find that extra pace, maybe adjust the settings slightly on her sled.
Here's the great sportsmanship in this sport.
Absolutely. Well, you're not racing each other, you're racing the conditions and the ice. And that's different for everybody. There's nothing you do that can affect anybody else. Next up, Kim Marmans of Belgium starts draw number 10 for her. See if she finds a bit more pace at the start as well. Starting in 5:18. Look, slender advantage now. I mean, there's such a tightly packed group of athletes coming up. Annie O'Shea might move up a lot.
5:13 in the first run. Everybody else is going faster up here.
Martin Reddle shouting off at the top.
5:02.
There we go.
So she's chopped like everybody else. Everybody's improved up there at the start. Of course, it's not blowing sideways, too. 500s. She's going to need to be perfect out here because Annie O'Shea is a video game. Oh, that's not perfect. She's off the sled. She's got to hold out or she'll be... I don't think she's got a chance to get back. She's got it. She's disqualified now. That curve 6 has been a nemesis for many people. When was the last time we saw somebody crash in skeleton like this? Besides Koenigsegg.
No, okay, now that's... No, you can't take Koenigsegg out. I'm trying to think who the most recent crash in Koenigsegg was. I'm thinking Marty Stukas 2 years ago, but he held
Stayed on the sled. I'm talking about leaving, you know.
No. Well, there's Kim.
6, a little late, up top of the track.
On the
There's been a lot of problems there, though, for the athletes. Boy, she came off her sled.
She just can't hold on.
Yeah.
She came off later and hit the ground harder.
She didn't. That impact was on her shoulder. Her shoulder took the whole brunt, not any part of the sled. Usually, if you stay on the sled provides a little bit of the buffer with the impact.
Yeah, it's the arm. She just couldn't hold on to it.
There's the right arm, and that's that right arm, right shoulder. At 70 miles an hour. So we're looking
at there. Yeah, she was doing 65
plus. Miles an hour, 70 miles an hour there, and she lands on the shoulder.
So look at her fingers. Track hold.
Martin, I can't remember the last time I saw somebody.
It's been a while.
And somebody who's decent athlete like the Belgian athlete. Here, just comes in late and watch the shoulder. Boom!
You could see as she came into shot, her legs were down. She was trying to hold the line down, but the sled just kept climbing.
Well, her mistake wasn't in the outlet. Her mistake was 50 meters before that on the entrance to that curve. So her mistake might have been up there in the exit of Luder's. That is Luder's lead.
Yeah. Way up, maybe 5, 6. Was all starting to get away from her.
Well, it looks like she's moving her arms okay. That's a great sign.
Ooh, she's going to be sore in the morning.
Tomorrow. She's got a couple weeks off before Lake
Well, listen, that's like getting thrown off a horse. But don't forget, they're going to go to Lake Placid, start training Thursday. There's International Training Week. And there's not a single athlete that hasn't been there and done that and felt that pain. So Annie O'Shea knows exactly what that's about.
Annie O'Shea was the winner last year in Lake Placid.
She
looks on and doesn't like to see those pictures.
Nope, no one does.
But the difference between a bobsled crash and a skeleton crash is the bobsled, if you tip over the bobsled, it really damages the track.
Yeah, but
the
it
skeleton
can also
doesn't
protect
here.
the athlete.
Yeah, it does. It's a great, but the skeleton does not affect the track. So I'm sure they're fishing I don't know where the sled ended up. I'm sure it got all the way to the bottom.
It'll come down to the bottom.
There,
15,
the sled
16,
got to the bottom.
Got
to the Thunderbird.
Yeah.
And
it gets to the low point and just, like water in the bottom of a bucket, eventually it'll slow down and stop.
Where the sports med people examining the sled.
Well, you've got to wait for it to slow right down and stop. You don't want the thing whistling
Look
up
how heavy.
into
Look,
your
two
ankles.
guys carrying it. That tells you 50, 60 pounds right there.
And it'll still be doing 70 miles an hour when it gets down there.
So all that acclimation, that is like a restaurant tray. It's not a little heavier than that.
That's a well-laden restaurant tray with a lot of beer on it.
So a little delay here now. And again, in the first heat, snow was coming sideways across this start. You can see the roof, top of your screen. That's where the roof ends. So you got 60 meters of, where the snow can accumulate, and the wind. That was the big thing, I think, up there, was the wind was affecting the starts.
Well, hopefully everybody hearing us clearly back home, wherever it is you're watching, online or on TV. There's a little blue light flashing there behind the control. Means that the track is still in hold, but we are now counting down to the start for Savannah Graybill. So please keep their warm clothing on right to the very last moment. They are only wearing the thinnest layer of lycra that you can imagine. I mean, it's not a neoprene race suit, it's not warm, barely it covers the body. And an awful lot of them coming in for headshots the last 2 or 3 days, brand new out of the packet. It's like trying to put on a pair of socks that's 6 sizes too small, trying to stretch your way into the racing. Here's Shay in the leaders box with 9 of our 20 athletes down. So our 10th starter, 11th after the first heat, was Savannah Graybill from the USA, and returns to World Cup after a year away last season. She didn't make the World Cup squad. She was racing in the Intercontinental Cup, the 2nd tier of sliding.
Division I field hockey player at American University, 4-year starter forward.
A wide variety of different athletes' backgrounds in this field. Sprinters, jumpers, heptathletes.
You got to watch out too. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism.
Here we go now. Here we go.
John, they're all a lot smarter than us. That we know.
That we don't have on our resumes. Had a decent.
Well, 5:25. Let's see if she finds a little more speed at the start. 5:17. Again, that's an improvement, definitely.
Well, she's the top American in the first run too, so she's chasing down her teammate Andy O'Shea, who's already got her, but she's got her because Andy's got a superior start. 1700's back. She's got to stop the bleeding, they say, for the first time of the year. Next clock. She had a good bottom part of the track. Up there in curve 6, she fell off the curve a little bit. Look at this, 17 to 14. That means she's game on here with her and her teammate Andy O'Shea at the bottom. 19, lost it. But she might not have lost it as much as O'Shea was a rocket on the bottom part of this fastest track in the planet.
3rd place at the moment for Savannah Graybill.
She's got to hold on at least. Yeah, she's 4th best time, drops 2 places. Annie, mixed emotions for her teammate.
Well, your teammate is one of the people you spend most time with, training with, traveling with, competing with. But it's the very first person you have to beat. Because if you can't beat your own teammates, you're never going to win a race. So there's that dichotomy there.
Well, falls off, curve 6, that's where Kim Barwins just crashed for Belgium. And watch the feet apart here. Goes into shiver. Now this is into that straightaway, 9-10.
Big skid there.
Skid there. Sure of herself.
Yeah, what's up? Still in the leaders box, Annie O'Shea.
Yeah, it's a great strategy.
10 down, 10 to go. Annie O'Shea leads by 0.09 of a second from Lelda Pregelena and Savannah Graybill. 10 down, 10 to go. First of our World Cup skeleton races of the season. This is the 2nd of our 2 heats. Janine Flock of Austria.
Silver medalist in last year's World Championship. Surprised at her start. 5:22 in the first run. 5:11. Everybody's a 10th better. But again, she also went 11. She was in that 8 to 12, 8 to 15 into that gale and that big snowstorm that was blowing sideways at the start, playing havoc up there.
And of course, if you start with less speed than you're used to in training, all of your timing is off, all the steers are in the wrong place, and you have to readjust all the way down the track. And then it's not memory, then it's guesswork. Another big skid for her. She drops
1800. The question is, again, O'Shea was video game on the bottom part of the track. She didn't make a mistake. Flock, last year's World Championship silver medalist on her home track at Innsbruck. She's going to drop 4 or 5 places, if not more. 2 bumps. Wow, 5th best time. 55.63. 2,500 slower.
Well, she went 1100s faster at the start, and as you say, a quarter of a second slower all the way down. So she actually lost over 0.3 of a second to Annie O'Shea.
And we know what Annie O'Shea just did, so the time is there in the track.
Yeah. And that's the perplexing thing about this sport, is it's hard to see where the time goes.
Look at this kid, though. This isn't a 9:10, and this is a curve that looks like it's all one curve, but it's a 9:10 combination. 50-50. Clean. Ooh, little bit of a early take on. She got pushed away. Not as bad as we've seen, though, but.
So Annie O'Shea remains in the leader's box. Only 0.03 of a second quicker than Janine Flock, who's just gone, was Marina Gilardoni. 1,300. She's going to have a good run to stay in front of O'Shea.
Good starter. 94 in the first run. Could be better. 88.
There you go.
Best, ties the best time of the competition. 3 people have had it. And she just missed a World Championship medal last year. 14th place in the first run. Then she went 5th, 3rd, and 2nd. The next 3 runs moved all the way to 4th place. Started off her career as a bobsledder, and boy, has she been coming on.
Big fall off the wall there, exactly where Kim Marmons crashed.
Big lead.
How much of that speed remains on board?
But this is where Annie O'Shea put the afterburner on. Oh, and there's a perfect example of it. The mistake up there.
Big flop on
Lunar
6.
sloop, yeah.
Really
Oh, here she's got some issues too. Oh, she's going to be way up. Going to go out of sight. No, not too bad there, but she's going to lose a lot of time right there.
And you see it.
9th best time of the run. Wow.
John, you'll see she'll barely make the crest here because she's lost so much speed.
The good sleds come all the way into the full pad.
In training 2 days ago, when it was like glass, they were shooting by the finish area at about 40 miles an hour still.
Yeah, little inconsistency there from the first heat to the second. Great start, but that's what she's known for. Here, watch the crossover here.
See,
feet apart.
It's the 6, I thought, where Kim Marmons crashed, where she really hit hard.
50-50.
So there is Marina Gilardoni of Switzerland. Switzerland, Marina, not Italy. I'm okay with that now.
The track is clear for
Annie O'Shea, the race leader, as we get to the first of our Germans, our World Cup rookie, Anna Fernstedt, 19 years old. She is now our youngest slider in the field.
5:21 in the first run, 21st best start of the field, and I was, wow, this is her debut, and she's not a good starter. Very surprised. She's only 300s better than her. She's already behind, but boy, did she fly on the bottom part of the track, which is how she made the German team. She's one of the young athletes, youngest in the field, as you said, Martin, but look at her form.
still talking up here about the great
Originally from Prague in the Czech Republic, so Altenburg not far from her former home, where she was born.
1400's back.
Bad exit.
She was perfect down there. She's got a chance. She had huge speed in the first round, but she's lost a couple hundredths more. This looks like a second place finish here.
3rd or 4th at the moment on the split, hovering
Perfect
around.
lines. Speed, big speed.
Now up to 2nd place at the bottom of the track. If she doesn't
hits
too
twice
hard,
though. 3rd
second
best
it
time.
is.
Oh, they bike 200s.
Yeah.
Look, as she went from 1600s down to only 200s down. And if she didn't hit those 2 places coming up the finish line, she might have been the leader.
There you go.
Look how far she comes into the foam pads too. Boy, doesn't have a great start, but keep your eyes on this young 19-year-old. She can slide.
First time ever on this track, 55.32 and 55.36. 400 of a second difference between her 2 slides. I think she knows what she's doing.
Obviously, she made the German team at 19 years old.
Yeah. And look at that smile. She's going to be around a while, I have a feeling. Where does she put all that hair under her helmet? The helmet must be like 3 sizes too big for her.
I know.
Wow.
There's the other 2 Americans there, ready to congratulate her. So 7 to go. Annie O'Shea still leads. O'Shea was 14th after heat 1.
There's another great starter.
Lourdes started 494.
Should be in the 80s the way everybody else is improving.
Don't think anybody really got much of a break with the weather. 489. That's much more what we expect from her.
Her foot came out there a little bit again like she did in the first run. She won the opening World Cup last year in Altenburg, Germany. Finished 7th in World Cup points. Had one other podium after that in Lake Placid. Finished 5th in this event last year.
Great run as we make our way halfway down the track now.
Here's great
A little bit of a hit on the
internet sound is the scratching where they just put their toe out to sort of steer themselves down the track.
Here, helmet as well. The chin spends a lot of time really bouncing off the ice. Down to 400s ahead.
Oh, she's got the lead right now. It's really tight.
200s of a second.
Speed's not that good. Speed's not that good.
2 hits.
Oh, tied to 100. Our first O of the year. Tied to the 100.
Exactly the same time that Anna Fernstedt has just produced, a 55.36, but she had a couple of hundreds more in hand than Fernstedt, so she ties the lead. So our top 3 covered by 200s of a second. Our top 4 by 900s.
All right. You made it exciting for us.
There you go, big smile on her face as well.
The finish. You go uphill here in the exit of the finish curve. There's so much time here. She hit that once and she's coming over. Got a 2. That's 200s. That's 100.
Yeah.
Maybe 1000.
And of course the sled's arcing, so it's
going uphill
all the
too.
time.
It's going uphill. Worst place you can make a mistake.
Joint leaders with 6 to go. Are we going to have to hand out more medals than usual? Here we go then. Yulia Konakina of Russia, second fastest start.
Yeah, diminutive. Look at her technique. 490 in the first run. Could be 88, 87, 893. No. One of the few people that went slow besides Jane Chanel from Canada. Diminutive in size. Well, she's got quite a lead in the first run on O'Shea, about 3,800. But we saw what O'Shea has done to the rest of the field on the bottom part of the track. That's why she's been in the leader's box for 6 sleds.
Konakina did not race here last season, so she's not got recent experience of the track. She came here the year before.
Oh, red numbers. Now the question is, how many spots is she going to fall? She went early in the competition, too.
She could lose half a dozen places here. It is so tight. Don't forget, 900s cover the top 4.
Oh, no speed at all. Way off the pace. Hits only once. And 11th best time with a run. Annie O'Shea's got the season record so far for spending time in the leading box. Konakina can take her great start and know that she'll have another better result.
Yeah, track she knows better, that start will pay off for her.
Her best finish ever was 8th last year at Altenburg at the season opening. Here, crossover, look at her head come way up. Then look at her head come down there. That great technique there, great training in the 50-50 curve. Look at her put her head down perfectly.
Buries ahead.
A lot of confidence, but she lost a lot of time down here.
Quick look just to check the line, buries ahead again to get out of the airstream.
Very easy to do at 80 miles an hour.
Very effective though. 5 to go and a rookie next. All right, she's a Canadian, but she is still in her first World Cup race. Joint leaders, Lourdes and Annie O'Shea of the USA. This is Mimi Reniva.
Great. The green number you see there is the lead 3,400, which is an eternity of time in the sport. Track record!
Oh my goodness! Well, whatever else, she goes away with a brand
That track
new
record's from the
record.
2010 games. That's a 6-year-old record.
It's from January this year from Sean Channel's race.
The downtime's the track record, but still, that's unbelievable.
All right, I was just about to say, she's 5th in her debut. Is that less pressure, hooray, or more? Well,
Oh, big mistake there, though.
if it was more pressure, she needs more pressure because that was a top draw start. Half a second clear of the leaders still.
This track, what she did in the first run. She went late. She went like 23rd out of 25 sleds. Oh, it's down to 2,500. This is going to be close. This is going to be close at the bottom.
Listen to the whistle.
134.9 got 18. She can't hit here.
And she doesn't.
It's going to be close.
Oh, she leads by 800ths of a second with 4 to go.
Wow, but I think we've seen the dawning of a new athlete here. Wow. Wow, what a start.
Well, if you're going to make your debut, Whistler's a tough place, but if you're a Canadian, it's one of the 2 best. Mirella Raniva.
Remember the name.
Mimi, you star.
It's all about the start in these sports. And this Canadian has rocketed onto the scene with a start. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody make their debut with that type of a start.
That was impressive stuff.
Love you.
The track is clear for Lizzie Arnold.
Wow, now she's won lots of races before at other levels, but she's never had the Olympic champion
The Olympic
following
champion
her on the ice.
started 5:02 in the first run. She's going to have to start 4:96, 4:97. She's going to have a big, big challenge. Here's the 4:97. 700's back. And Rosina, she looked like she was in control all the way down the track.
Well, don't forget, Mimi had one big hit, one late exit.
7:23 should see the bleeding stop at the next climb.
This is clean out of 6, and she is.
This is where she should have a chance. 7, there it is. The Olympic champion starting to show her technique. Green numbers. This is going to be the leader.
And now takes the lead by 1/10 of a second.
Little high exit there as she gets into the Gold Rush Trail.
This is Olympic material right here. 2/10 of a
Here we
second.
go.
Arnold knows what to do.
1700s up to 2700s.
What a great run this is.
85.2 miles an hour. Great speed.
Good finish. 55.09. 600 slower than her first run, but you know, there's certain things you can look at in the slider. Arnold just carved the track up over the top. No mistakes. She's...
Well, I know her mum and dad, her sisters are watching back home, her husband as well.
They're married May
Sure.
1st this year.
Yeah.
Another day at the office.
Go GB! Go GB!
Could be a medal run, what she just put together. Here's down in the shiver. Okay, it's 80 miles an hour. Set you up into the 50-50 curve, pivotal part of the track. And well, there was Olympic champion technique right there.
She might not like the fact that her time is no longer her own, but boy, she still likes to do this ice sliding thing, doesn't she? Lizzie Arnold has the lead from Mirella Raniva, 3 to go. Germany's Tina Hermann, 3rd after the first heat. 400ths of a second only the advantage over Olympic champion Lizzie Arnold.
Needs the low 5s here, 5:08 in the first run. 5:02, so now watch, she got to get clean here. Her foot came out in the first run, there it does again.
As she lay down, her first heat advantage had gone.
Well, she won like 5 times last year, only off the podium in 1 race, including she won the World Championships. She was the dominant player on tour, and she's going to have to go head-to-head here with the Olympic champion who's at the bottom, who she didn't compete against last year. 300s. Now it's green or red numbers.
This is going to yo-yo back and forth. She's been behind, in front,
600s.
behind.
Now it's about the medals.
She needs 85 miles an hour at the bottom of the track. She needs to be
136.
clean. It's going to be close, but not close
Not going to
enough.
be good enough, though.
1/100th of a second.
Where did that come from? Look at Jens Mueller. Wow. Now, okay, with the Olympic champion, just got beat by last year's world champion. They didn't really compete against each other last year. This girl came out of nowhere to dominate the season, and we just saw some magic in the last 150 meters in the track.
And another girl with a big slide and a big smile. But giving her start time, her down time.
Little small mistake here.
Little flop off
Flop
6.
off 6 in the
Tiny, though.
But look at the feet, look at the form there.
Yeah.
Well, There's a medal.
I think this is going to be a big story this season.
These two right here.
Yeah,
Take a
Lizzie
look
and
at that
Tina.
too.
But don't forget, we've still got 2 to go. Another Elizabeth and Jocko. Two to go here in Whistler. Jacqueline Lurling of Germany. Bronze medalist last year. Quarter of a second up on Tina Hermann after the first heat, very nearly.
5:26 in the first one, 5:21 here, 5:19, okay? But she is so far behind at the start. The next clock, she's going to be in the red. But there's nobody that traverses the bottom part of any course better than this 6-foot, tallest female in the field athlete right here. Look, there's the red numbers expected, but there it goes back to green. Now she takes over. She just has this ability as a speed merchant down these tracks.
600s. Oh, just
Snuck out of
the
there.
short wall. That was close.
10, 11,
15/100s in front. This is another
19. This is
Here we go.
fine. Watch the speed.
Great speed, fastest of all so far.
Wow,
Lizzie
this is for at least a
85.2.
second.
She goes 83.9 miles an hour. Jacqueline Lurling has the lead. And look at her
By
form across the
200.
line.
How close are these?
insane.
Wait a minute, the last 3 sleds are separated by 300ths of a second.
Yep.
Look at that.
300s covering the top 3 with 1 to go.
This is some incredible racing. First event of the year.
So Lizzie Arnold lies 3rd, Tina Hermann 2nd, Jacqueline Lurling 1st.
She gives up so much time at the start. Nobody has better technique and form down the track than this girl here. Look how high she was there. And that's into the takeout of the curve she hit early. That cost her a lot of time. She was up considerable at that point into the 50 curve.
There's Anna Fernstedt offering her congratulations.
Well, there's a
Fernstedt, the rookie, will finish no worse than 8th. And now for victory, Elizabeth Arche from Canada.
Now this is no victory lap.
The girl from Toronto with a quarter-second advantage, John, but the previous 3 sliders have been epic down the bottom.
Exit curve here. It's got to be straight. Perfect. She was video game on the first heat. She just blew everybody away.
She just started 1200ths of a second quicker than her first heat. That's 3600ths at the bottom.
I said the first heat she was in a sophomore slump last year. Did not have a podium appearance. The year before she had medaled numerous times, including a bronze medal at the World Championships. Last year she was nowhere near the podium.
Building the gap, 5800ths of a second. The next 3 sliders covered by 300. She's 6/10 clear. 125.2. Top speed so far.
What we've seen out of these Canadian athletes with the start record, and now Facci blowing the field away.
Insane speed. Elizabeth Arche opens the season with a gold medal by 8/10ths of a second. The next 3 sliders covered by 300ths of a second. Are you kidding me?
Wow, I think, wow, we saw this one Canadian athlete come out of nowhere. We didn't know about her. The other athletes we knew about.
Oh my, Mom! I think last year didn't hurt. That's her dad. That's her mum Rita in the track with her. Elizabeth Arche is back.
Well, you say every picture tells a story.
There's Jane Channel, Janine Flock, and hugging her, Mirela Reneva, who finishes 5th on her debut.
Remember that name.
Yeah, if we don't concuss it with our camera first.
Oh, Janine.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, exactly so. Martineau giving her the hat. He'll be sliding tomorrow. Well, her dad, Jeff, remember when she won in Lake Placid? He was in tears before she was when she came off the sled.
Again, in 15, when she won
Wow.
the World Championship bronze medal, I thought it was a dawning of a new era. But last year, she went to sleep.
Yeah, well, she struggled, but look at that. She wins by a massive margin. Jacqueline Lerning, Tina Herman grabbed the medals. Lizzie Arnold, 100th out. Mirella Raniva Mimi, 5th on her World Cup debut. And Anna Fernstedt in 8th place as well. And for USA, Annie O'Shea, silver medal last year, 6th here from 14th in the first heat. And Savannah Grable also in the top 10. Just 100th or two ahead of Janine Flock, Yulia Kanakina, and Yelena Nikitina not having a great run on her birthday. Kim Milemans crashed out of corner 6, did not complete the run. So we have 19 finishers in our final standings. I think we might need a moment or two to compose. I don't know, never mind Lizzie. I think we might all need a moment or two to compose ourselves. What an outpouring of emotion from Elizabeth Vache.
You know, again, I think her emotion, obviously what she did this past summer to amend for her disappointing results last year.
Well, my question is, how the hell did you keep a lid on that amount of emotion for the entire season last year? Because it didn't come out in frustration.
You know, the sophomore jinx might be an American term, but it happens a lot in sport where somebody comes out as the rookie of the year and the next year you don't hear from them. And she was basically one of the rookies of the year in 2015.
Oh, no question. She was the outstanding new name.
Good starts, you know, and wow. But the other, I mean, the Canadians have 3 of the 4 top starts, I think. The Jane Chanel, she didn't do well on the bottom.
Yep.
But she rocketed in the first 50 meters. And this doesn't have a start emphasis, this track. When they get to a track with a start emphasis, they're going to be, the Canadians have come out with 3 really formidable female athletes in the skeleton field.
That was a very, very interesting race. And the weather certainly in the first heat really sort of skewed some of the results, definitely. Annie O'Shea, silver medalist last year. I'm sure she could feel that she probably didn't have the best of the weather, but it may not just have been about the wind and the snow, a little bit of sled setup, and just how quickly you adapt to the change of conditions after the training days. So all of that goes into the melting pot as well. Here, as the sun starts to sink further behind the mountains. View of the Whistler Sliding Centre, and here is the World Cup standings after the first 9 World Cup rounds. Elizabeth Vache of Canada, the leader, having won the season opener from Jacqueline Lerning, Tina Herman, the returning Olympic champion Lizzie Arnold, rookie Mimi Raniva in 5th ahead of Laura Dees and Annie O'Shea, another rookie Anna Fernstedt in 8th. You won't be able to forget these names because I slightly have a feeling we'll be saying them a lot this year. And there will be others outside the top half dozen who feel that they should be in there and probably will be in terms of results. But that is the way that it has finished after the first race weekend for women's skeleton. Well, John Morgan, what an emotional result for one young lady. Elizabeth Vache with the first round lead.
2400s, and then she goes to 1800s. You know, this is a sport time to hundreds of seconds as evidence of the second, third, and fourth sled separated by 300s. This girl comes out and does something that is, you know, vengeance. It's like last year she took it off. She had no results, never got near the podium, and look how happy she was.
Yep. Well, her mum had the smile, but it was tears of relief, exultation, everything. Every emotion you could possibly put a name to, and a lot you can't for Elizabeth Vache. Here is our top 3. Dan Steele from the IBSF handing out the flowers to third placed Tina Herman, 2nd Jacqueline Lerling, and our race winner Elizabeth Vache. Hey, and finally the tears have stopped flowing and the smile returns.
What a race.
What a race, what a result for the Canadian. And in the top 6, Lizzie Arnold, the returning Olympic champion in her first race back, in 4th. Mimi Reniva in 5th. Laura Dees in 6th position. 2 Germans, 2 Canadians, 2 Brits. So that's it, the first of our 110 heats, first 2 of 110 heats of the season. We'll be back with more action from the Whistler Sliding Centre throughout the weekend. Join us. Until then, from the crew here, from Tom Morgan, I'm Martin Haven saying goodbye.